Okay, the next thing we're going to take a look at is data types. So with data types, what we can do is we can take a look at how different memory is stored inside JavaScript inside the browser. There's only a couple different data types that we're going to be working with that we really have to worry about, and we'll cover some of these in more detail later on, but we can get started. So for data types, the first one is going to be a string. And a string, we'll use const name equals mj. Okay, there's our const name string. Okay, string is simply a fancy name for text. Okay. All right, next is we have number types. So we can do const age equals 34. We have Boolean types. These are going to be const, we could do has kids. So these are going to be a true or false. You'll see that as well too. We have a what's called a null type, basically that the value for null, it's the value is not there. So we can do something like const car equals null. All right. I would say that you probably want to stay away from using null because we could do something like we can do const has kids equals false. Null is similar to false. It's a bit confusing. When you say const car equals null, it's similar to false in that, but not equal to false. It's basically that the value is not there at all. And it actually shares more in common with the next thing, which is undefined. And what undefined is say we set up a variable let student, and we're going to give the student a name later on. Maybe it's going to be student equals Joe or something. Let student equals Joe. We're not going to define it just yet. We're going to define it later on. So we might just do let student. And in this case, it's undefined. There is nothing here, right? There's nothing on the other side of it. So it's a variable that we're letting the computer know we're going to use later on, but we're not using it just yet. And here we have const car equals null. And so that's very similar to undefined. You'll see this occasionally in coding. And I'm not sure how often it appears in Phaser. We're going to take a look, but in a couple different places, you'll actually see this being reported by the computer itself, not by the programmer. Okay. Okay, and then we do have, so these are all what are called primitive types. Basically, every computer language is going to have these things. It's going to have strings, they're going to have numbers, the Booleans, and they're going to have undefineds. Some have null, some don't. But at any type you're programming, you're going to basically have these that are part of that language. And we're going to see that. There are other types as well, too. And we'll get to those later on. Things like arrays, object literals. With JavaScript, we have the date time object. We have all sorts of different things we can get access to. But right now, if you know this will be enough.